Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. I offer my pranams at the feet of Swami Narasimhanandaji Maharaj, and I thank him for inviting me to interact with all of you in Mangaluru. When Maharaj asked me to give a topic about which I would be speaking in this spiritual retreat, Antaryoga, I asked him what would be the audience like. I was particularly interested in the age group of the audience. Generally, it is our experience that the audience is full of grey hair. If the hair is not grey, it is because of some dye they have used. So, and Maharaj also honestly, promptly said that it will be above 40. Don't worry. Immediately I also said God-centered life. That should be the topic. Because after crossing 40, if you don't center your life on God, when will you center your life on God? It is not that when you are young, you should not have God as your center. But generally, this is the idea that when you are retired from active life, when you get your gratuity, provident fund, there are so many other things they get when they retire. And then when you don't know what to do, then you think of God. That is the general idea. And then we all go to temples, do pradakshina. We also go to ashramas, do pranams, and also boast about it. Do you know I go to Mangaluru ashrama like that? I'm not saying you should not come to the ashrama. The other part might not be so good, boasting about it. We do all that. And old age brings back pain, leg pain, knee pain, and we also become a pain for others. So it is in this background that we are going to approach the topic, God-centered life. I believe that we have been blessed with a great book. In Kannada, it is called Vachana Veda, Sri Ramakrishna Vachana Veda. In English, it's called the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The main book, the original, is called Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. In the entire spiritual and religious history of mankind, there has been no such book. This we are not saying, many others are saying. When Ramana Maharishi's talks were being recorded and they were published as a book, Talks with Bhagavan, in the foreword or preface to that book, it is written that that book was inspired by the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, where you have a day-to-day conversation with Bhagavan. All questions have been answered. All problems of spiritual life have been addressed in that book. Unfortunately, we don't look deep enough. There, Sri Ramakrishna says, tying the knowledge of Advaita in your cloth, you do as you please. In Bengali, Advaita Gyan Anchale Bede Ja Ichha Tai Karo. What does it mean? I found this whole topic of centering our life, making God the pole star of our life. This is deeply connected or deeply reflected in this statement of Sri Ramakrishna, that you tie the knowledge of Advaita at the end of your cloth and then you do as you please. What is Advaita? When generally somebody talks about Advaita Vedanta, the general response is, oh Baba, it is so difficult. We cannot think, we are all Bhaktas. Okay, what is Bhakti? What is Bhakti? Bhakti means not thinking of anything else other than God. That is Bhakti. Simple. Not thinking of anything else. That is Bhakti. Only thinking of God. Not for any return, but for thinking of God, because I like to think about God. Why? Because I have a relationship with God. It can be a relationship that a servant has with the master, or a child has with the mother. There can be various kinds of relationships. In some places it is told there are 9 kinds of relationship a person can have with God. So that is why we always think of God much like a child always thinks of her mother, or a lover always thinks of the beloved. We always think of God. That is the sign of a devotee, that is Bhakti. Now, if you have that Bhakti, say if we were to replace this statement of Sri Ramakrishna, the phrase knowledge of Advaita, instead of that, if we were to add Bhakti, if we were to replace that phrase with Bhakti, say, have Bhakti with you and do as you please. So what is Bhakti? Bhakti is always thinking of God. Who is God? Whatever relationship you have established with God, that is God for you. Now, if you always think of God in that sense, what will you please? What will you like to do? Whenever we hear such statement, we are very happy. Oh, I can do whatever I want. Otherwise, whenever we go to any spiritual guru, spiritual teacher, they give us so many rules, do's and don'ts. So here we are very happy. Whatever we want, we can do. But if you are a Bhakta, what will you like to do? That is the question. Will you think of you as a body? Will you like to spend your time on what pleases your body? When we see the examples of other devotees, we don't find that. We see they spend their time in thinking about God, in thinking about the divine play, Leela of God, in taking the name of God, in singing songs in praise of God, and in doing different kinds of worship of God. Why worship? Suppose somebody very close to you comes to your home, say after a long time you are meeting that person. What would you do? What is the way you express your love and affection? You feed that person. You make so much food, or nowadays you order Swiggy, Zomato, whatever you order, and you get good foods and feed that person. You ensure that the person has Wi-Fi password and also nice sleep is there. That you ensure. All that you do. Because you want that person to be comfortable, happy, rested. Because you love that person. So what would you do with God? We have this example of Andal. We have many examples. We have this example of Andal. Andal's father was one of the Alvars, saints who are known for the devotion to Sri Vishnu. Periya Alvar. Periya in Tamil means big. So big Alvar. So he used to do regular puja in a temple, and every day Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana has to be offered flower garland. So he used to ask his daughter Andal to prepare flower garland, and he used to offer it. One day he found a strand of hair in that garland, and he said, "How this came? This is not good. How can hair be there in something which we offer to Lord Narayana?" And immediately Andal said, "Why? I always put it on myself and see." There was one mirror, so she used to see whether she is looking beautiful, nice, whether it is suitable. And then I give it to Lord. So how can you do that? You cannot do that. Because Agra Bhaga is what is offered to God. Means that which is not Uchishta, Anuchishta, which has not been tasted or used, that fresh has to be offered to God. You cannot do that. So you see, Periyalvar himself was a great saint. But he said that, and he said, tomorrow you give or now you make a garland and don't put it yourself and give it to me. So she made a garland and he was about to offer it to Lord Narayana. Immediately there was a divine voice saying that this has not been worn by Andal. So first she has to check, only then I will wear. So my devotee has not checked. Like big VIPs, when they come, this president, prime minister and all, they will have 2-3 people. Whatever food you give them, they will first eat and see whether it is okay. For 5 minutes they will wait. That is security protocol. If they don't die, then they will give. So similarly, Lord Narayana has his own security protocol. Then of course we know the incident of Shabari. Shabari, that bear. In English, we don't have many names for fruits. Bear is also called berry in English. Everything is a berry. Blackberry, blueberry, gooseberry, like that. Some berry. So that bear, she eats it and tastes it, and if it is sweet, then she gives it to Sri Ramachandra. That is what we do when we love a person. We want to ensure that everything comfortable, everything is taken care of. Then the question is, do we love God? Do we really love God? If we really love God, then we will always think of God, not of anything else. So, coming back to the original statement, knowledge of Advaita, if it is replaced by the phrase Bhakti, then we will think only of God. When we think only of God, what would please us? Only to take the name of God, to sing about God, to think of God, to meditate upon God. To please God will only please us. So, Sri Ramakrishna is saying, when you become Bhakta, all you will do is do something to please God. Coming to the original statement, the knowledge of Advaita. What is Advaita? Advaita is understanding that you are not different. You, not as this body or this mind, but your true self, your true personality is not different from the ultimate reality. Tattvamasi. In the Chandogya Upanishad, a son goes to Gurukula and returns. And the father asks him some questions to check whether he has got proper knowledge. And then finds that he does not have proper knowledge. And then he teaches him many things. And finally, 9 times he tells, Tattvamasi, O Shvetaketo. Shvetaketo is the name of the sun. So Tattvamasi, you are that. That means there is no essential difference. There is no difference between you and the ultimate reality. But we do experience difference. Why? Because of ignorance. Because of not knowing that we are the ultimate reality. So Sri Ramakrishna says that you tie the knowledge of Advaita in your cloth. That means what? When you know that you are not the body, when you know that you are not the mind, you are not the prana, you are not the buddhi, you are not the Anandamaya Kosha, when you know all this, then you cannot do anything which will go against this knowledge. Because unlike the knowledge of mathematics, physics, chemistry, and such other empirical subjects or worldly subjects, knowledge of God is something which is not attained through the mind or the senses, and so it cannot be removed. Once you get the knowledge, you know. Even if your body is in pain, even if you are suffering from some illness, you are always established in that experience. So, that is why when you have the knowledge of Advaita, when you have the knowledge of constant thought, when you have that constant knowledge that you are that which you think you are not this body, you are not mind, etc. But you are not that which people think you to be. You are not that which you see in the mirror. That is not you. You are something much higher than that. You are beyond your mind and senses. When this idea comes to you, then do whatever you want. Means then you will not do things which are generally injurious to your true nature. You will never do that. You will not say, try to beautify the body, or you will not try to enhance the idea that you are the body. All that you will not do. Automatically it will not happen. And this is what Sri Ramakrishna says. And to attain that, what we need to do, that also Sri Ramakrishna says. He says that you need to have dispassion towards the world. You need to have dispassion towards sense object, Vishaye Virag, and Ishare Anurag. You need to have affinity or love or passion towards God. So that which is your true nature, you go towards that, and that which is not your true nature, you avoid that. Dispassion. So constantly this thinking, Sri Ramakrishna talks much about vichara, viveka, discernment. Viveka is what? Nitya, anitya, viveka. What is that which is real? What is that which is unreal? Thinking about that. This is God-centered life. We can take two examples from our scriptures. One example is the example of Prahlada. Prahlada is considered to be the best devotee, Bhakta Prahlada. And there are so many enactments of this whole incident or life story of Prahlada. In every state of our country, in different ways, in Karnataka also, so many ways, in theatrical ways, other ways, this Bhakta Prahlada incident is enacted. What happened there? We all know Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlada, told him that, you see, you always do this, take the name of Narayana, and not only that, you tell others also to take the name of Narayana. In fact, Narayana is not powerful. I am the most powerful person, so everybody should take my name. And he made a law like that, everybody should take my name. And his own son was having a secret army who were not taking his father's name, but the father of all fathers' name, Lord Narayana's name. But there we see tremendous surrender in Prahlada. That is, when Hiranyakashipu, his own father, wants to kill him, he never prays to Lord to save him. In our experience, we find people coming to God only then when there is huge sorrow. So during Corona time, many people became Bhaktas. Truth, we find. That is why Kabir Das says, Dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Jo sukh mein sumiran kare, to dukh kahe ko hoy. So everyone, particularly during this exam season, we find tremendous footfall in temples and also in ashramas. Everybody will come. Swamiji, our child should get good marks. So this happens. Always sorrow means people are, and also that is when philosophical songs are also written. One heartbreak means 10 philosophical songs will come. So here also, such a situation is there with Prahlada, but he never prays. He never says, "Oh Narayana, save me." Why? Because he knows what God does. We have to remind ourselves. We don't remember that. We have read it many times. We have also insurance policy. Many of you might have life insurance policy, right? Life Insurance Corporation of India. Do you know what is the motto of LIC? Yogakshemam vahamyaham. It is not LIC motto, it is Sri Krishna's motto. They have borrowed it. Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says that whatever these qualities I have told, in the 9th chapter he says that if someone has these qualities, then I Yogakshemam vahamyaham. I take care, I maintain the yoga and kshema of that person. What is yoga? Whatever you need. Yoga in this sense means addition. So whatever you need is added, is given to you. Kshema, whatever you have is maintained. So your body, your blood pressure, blood sugar level, all this is maintained by God. You are thinking insulin or all that is not maintaining. God is maintaining. So this is all maintained by God. Yogakshemam vahamiham. So what have we to do? Whatever Sri Krishna says before this shloka, that we have to practice. Because if we practice that, He will look after us. What if we don't practice that? Then who will look after us? Somebody else will look after us. This is where we have to understand that even a dry leaf does not move without the will of God, even if you think so, or even if you don't think so. Even if you believe so, or even if you don't believe so. Just because you don't believe, it does not mean that even a dry leaf does not move without the will of God. That is the fact. That is a given. That is the law. Everything happens because the will of God, whether you believe it or not. So, even if you don't do this, God will take care of you. But you have to do all these to understand that you have a relationship with God, or to put it in Advaitic terms, to know that you are one with God. Swami Vivekananda, with his great benevolence and kripa, told that I am giving up this body, but I will continue to work until every last soul, the last soul knows that it is one with God. So that we have to understand. And for that we do sadhana. It is not because by our doing sadhana, God will get the power to do everything in this world. By doing sadhana, we are not doing any help to anybody. We are helping ourselves. This we have to understand. And that kind of God-centered life in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 16th shloka, again Sri Krishna says, Sarvarambha Parityagi. Who is a correct devotee? Who has given up all undertakings that bring any kind of fulfillment of desire. There are two things which bother us all the time. Only two things. They are the root of all problems. And those two things have been very beautifully told to us by various people. Sri Krishna says, Kama esha, Krodha esha. So the word used there is esha, means this. He does not say Kama and Krodha as two different things. This is Kama, this is Krodha. In the inspired talks, Swami Vivekananda says, what is anger? Anger is crystallized lust. And in the Gita itself, in the 2nd chapter, Shri Krishna says, Kamat Krodha Abhijayate. So from Kama, when our desires are not fulfilled because of some obstacle, then anger comes. Then anger comes. Kama and Krodha. These are our enemies. Sri Ramakrishna put it beautifully. Kamini Kanchana. Or you can say Kama and Lobha. Because this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna was told predominantly to a male audience, here it is Kamini. But whenever he used to talk to women devotees, he used to say Purusha Kanchana. So that means Kama, lust, and Lobha, greed. These two we have to avoid. What are these? Towards the end of his introduction to the Brahma Sutras, his commentary on the Brahma Sutras, for that he has written an introduction, Bhagavad Shankaracharya, he says, Kartrutva, Bhoktritva. The idea that I am doing something. You see, we always drink tea. Most people drink tea. Some people get headache if they don't drink tea. So they drink tea. Tea is what? Not a very great thing. Tea is there. But when somebody prepares tea, they will say, and they give it to you, they will look at you. How is the tea? They will ask. I prepared it, How is nice? Like that they will ask you. One tea that becomes different when you have. Steve Jobs knew this, you see. He's a very intelligent person. He could have made any phone, but he did not do that. He added one letter, iPhone. Now everybody wants to have an iPhone because I is added. So always whenever you think I am doing, even though it is a very bad work you are doing, you feel everybody should appreciate you. Somebody might be singing very sweet like a crow. They want some award for that. Because I am doing kartrutva. This is one problem. Bhoktritva, I have experienced. So my experience is great. Why do you think people take selfies? I could not figure it out. Why selfie people go in front of Badrinath? Lord Narayana is there, Badrinath, and there in front of that they will stand and do some contortion face and take one selfie. Why? Because I went to Badrinath. I asked one person, hey, why are you just take the photograph of the temple? I said, no, how it will prove that I went there? Bhoktritva. I have experienced Badrinath. Badrinath by itself, Badrinath has no value. I went there, so it has value. So these two things, Shankaracharya said, Kartrutva, Bhoktritva. This is what, so there are two things here. One is Ahankara, I do. Another one is mine, Mamakara. Kartrutva, Bhoktritva. And this is what is told by Sri Krishna, Kamayesha, Krodayesha. And this is what is told by Sri Ramakrishna as Kamini Kanchana or Kama and Lobha. This we have to understand. So first thing, we have to stop thinking that whatever is happening because of us or for us. You know, many times, most of you might know, but I am surprised how most people, even close devotees, don't know, that on an average, a monk of the Ramakrishna order has to really do work, unlike other monks. Like tremendous work they have to do. 8 hours, 10 hours, some places 12, 14 hours, they have to work, real work, like office and all that. I don't know how many actually see, because whenever somebody comes to the ashramas and they see from close quarters, they are surprised. We knew that Swamis have work, but so much work we did not know. Many people say that. So much work is there, somebody is calling. And some devotee is calling and we are unable to take the call. Because of course work is there. Then immediately they will say, Swamiji, did I do any papa? Why are you not taking my call? Suddenly you see the entire world revolves around yourself. So once like that one lady, she was in some problem, some woman. So she told this again and again to me. Then I said, please don't think that the whole world revolves around you. There are other things also people have to do. So this is our problem. We think the whole world revolves around us. So we have a I-centered world. From there, we have to transform it into God-centered world. Our world is centered around I. I am doing, I am going. This fellow told like this to me. That fellow told because he did not get good breakfast. We don't understand that. Oh, something I did, what he has got enmity with me. God-centered life we need to have. This, another one example from the life of Bhagavad Shankaracharya himself. That is, we all know that incident. He was in Kashi and he was getting up after his bath in the Ganga. And he saw a Chandala, means a person who is not in the 4 varnas, so-called outcast. And then he said, Duram Gacha, you go away from my way. This is what he said. So the Chandala, he replied that who are you asking to go away? Annamaya, Tannamayam, Athava, Chaitanyameva Chaitanyat. Are you asking this body, gross body, which is made of food, to go away from that body which is made out of food? Or are you asking this instance of consciousness to go away from that instance of consciousness? Either way, it doesn't make any difference, because this body and that body essentially are same, and this instance of consciousness is same with that instance of consciousness. So what are you asking? Swami Ranganathanandaji has given a lecture on this. That lecture is titled Adi Shankaracharya and an Untouchable. It has been brought out as a book by Advaita Ashrama. So there he says, afterwards some people said that this Chandala is not actually Chandala, it is Shiva who came. There he says that because of some social stratification, social division, people could not digest that an ordinary person could tell such a profound truth to a person who propounded Advaita Vedanta. So they made up story that it is Shiva, etc. And he quotes Swami Vivekananda. He says, when Swamiji went to Chicago, he said that in our country, many people don't know what is happening regarding politics in other nations, but they know that there is a world parliament of religions happening and a representative of Hinduism has gone there. So in our country, even ordinary people know extraordinary things about spirituality and religion. So that's what happened there. And when this Shankaracharya heard, he was of course Shankaracharya, he immediately understood his mistake. See, because of his upbringing, he had this ingrained in him. So he understood, and he then and there composed a beautiful text of 5 stanzas which is called Manisha Panchakam. It's considered the summary of Advaita Vedanta. There he says, in one of the paragraphs, one of the stanzas, he says, Prarabdhaya samarpitam svavapuhu gururityesha manisha mama. That is God-centered life according to Advaita Vedanta. A person who has vapuhu, one's body, samarpitam, has surrendered one's body to prarabdha karma. That person, according to me, is my guru. So who is that person? A knower of God, a knower of Brahman, will surrender one's body to prarabdha karma. What is prarabdha karma? Results of actions which have already started giving results in this birth. So that you have to, there is a school of thought which says that even a knower of God or knower of Brahman has to experience this and then only leave the body. So that person is called a Jivan Mukta, one who is free even while being in the body. So Prarabdhaya Samarpitam. The person who has that kind of dependence on the ultimate reality does not bother about the external circumstances, does not think I will do something. You see, in fact, most people who consider themselves devotees, they do exactly opposite of what Sri Krishna says, Sarvarambha Parityagi. So for devotees, even that act of devotion or the path of devotion becomes another undertaking. It is another one big project. Oh, in my room, there is no space for doing meditation. One space has to be built. I know of some people like that. So they immediately call engineer, etc. This place should be like this, etc. And then there is no asan to sit. So nice asan has to be. Then they will go to this Gita and Chaila, Jinakushottaram, etc. That kind of asan should be. Don't do that. Because according to Wildlife Conservation Act, if you have deer skin and all, you will be in jail. So the meaning there you have to deeply understand and accordingly have a asana or consult senior monks and then do. So then they will do all this, all paraphernalia will be there. They will ask some ashrama, I want this size photograph and all that. Then finally, when do you have time to sit and pray or do japa? And when you are doing japa, that's what, I am doing japa. Nobody should make any sound. I am doing japa. So this Sarvarambha Parityagi means complete dependence on God, because go by whatever path in spirituality, whether it is the path of devotion, whether it is the path of work or knowledge or meditation, things will happen depending on the course of nature. I am now reminded of a sutra from the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. It's a beautiful sutra. Unfortunately, not many people delve into the deep meaning of that sutra. And that is Prakriti Apurat. That sutra is Prakriti Apurat. See, we think it is because of us that the sun rises and sun sets. In fact, sun never rises and does not set. That itself is an illusion. So Prakriti Apurat means what? Suppose there is some want or some void in a place, nature will fill it. Swami Vivekananda translated says, infilling of nature. So nature will fill it. how do we use this in our day-to-day lives? Suppose there is really something you need. Of course, there is a difference between what you need and what you want. Wants cannot be limited. They can go on, billions of wants can come. But what you need, to do what you need to do, there is some need. Unless we fill that need with worry and tension, it will be fulfilled. So, if you have, say, rains are there, so monsoon season comes. If suppose there is a pit, and that pit is open, when there will be rain, what will happen? That pit will be filled with water. But if you were to fill the pit with garbage, will the pit be able to hold water? No, because there is garbage. So if you constantly worry, or if you constantly think that you have to do something, I will do this, I will do that. If you constantly fill that need with ideas or attitudes of kartrutva and bhoktrutva, agency and experiencership, if you fill that need with those ideas, then that need cannot be filled because it is already filled, or with worries. So what you need to do, whenever something is needed, just be quiet, that's all. This we have to understand. And Prakriti Apurat, nature will fulfill that need. Because nature works in her own way. So God-centered life is necessary because God gives us this guarantee that I will take care of you. You don't need to worry. Now, whose guarantee are you wanting more? So here, what is the problem? This is a faith crisis. See, this is a faith crisis. Whenever we talk about spirituality, whenever we talk about religion, people generally are not interested. How to bring interest? Don't talk about religion, talk about mutual funds. See, immediately people will, what, somebody, did he say mutual fund? What happened? Mutual fund? Okay, how much? How much annualized return will I get? Now you understand, we have more faith in Jada than we have faith in Chaitanya. We have more faith in the unreal than we have faith in the real, because we can see the unreal. The Mandukya Karika says, why is anything unreal? I can see it. How can you say that it is unreal? The Guru immediately says, precisely because you can see it, it is unreal. Because you can experience it through the mind and the senses, it is unreal. So, we are so much worried about what will happen to our bank balance. But there is no guarantee. But God gives us guarantee that if you depend on Him or her or whoever it is, we don't know the gender of God. God has no gender. So God will take care of you. Your earthly requirements will be taken care of. Not only that, in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there is an assurance which honestly I haven't come across in any other spiritual text, scriptural text. What is the assurance? That if you start spiritual practice now, that will not go waste. It will remain, and you will continue from that, wherever you have reached, from there you will continue in your next lifetime, and so on and so forth, till you reach the ultimate goal. So nothing will go waste. God gives you this guarantee. Nowadays, no product gives you guarantee. Guarantee is a thing of past. Now only warranty, that also they don't give. 6 months, maximum 1 year. But God gives you guarantee across lifetimes. Janma Janmadi guarantee He gives. That if you do sadhana, it will not go waste, it will remain, and you will continue from where you left. So much guarantee. And you do sadhana, and whatever you need in your life, I will provide. What else do we need? God Himself giving this guarantee. But our problem is we do not have faith. We are like that Pandit Sri Ramakrishna says in that story. A milk maid used to come and give milk. One day she got late. Then this person asked, "Why did you get late?" And she said, "There is this river she has to cross, and because it has got level of the water is increased, so she has to wait for the boatmen, etc., etc." Then he said, "What is this? Take the name of God and walk on water." Then after some time she started coming on time, and he asked again, "Why? How are you coming on time now?" "No, you said, tell the name of God and walk on water, I do that." So he does not believe. And then he goes to check. And when she starts walking, he follows her, but lifts his dhoti. So that milkmaid asks him that, "What, do you not believe?" So our problem is that we have knowledge, all right. We have so much of listening, so much of association, all right. One thing is missing, like salt. In cooking, if you don't put salt, then what will happen? More salt also is problem, less salt is also problem. So faith is like salt. Without that, all exercises towards spirituality or apparent exercises will have no meaning. So we need to have faith. We need to have the faith to stop thinking that we are doing something or that we can do something. That faith we need to have. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Sarada Devi and Swami Vivekananda that let that unshakable faith in the Almighty, in Lord, in God come to us, and let this Janma be the last Janma of all of us. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.